Hey, James.
Yes.
Hey, James.
Hey,
Hey,
Dylan.
James.
Dylan.
So, you wake up after a wild night.
A raunchy,
Crazy night.
Just a raunchy Monday.
Just
like
another day. Just
like
another
a
day.
dumb Hollywood film kind of night.
Yeah.
Like you got rowdy.
With the face of your childhood hero tatted on your sternum. Best or worst thing ever?
Best. The best
Ooh,
thing.
really?
Yeah, that was a quick answer.
Yeah. Quick draw McGraw over here.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm proud of my childhood hero.
Ooh, who is this person?
Someone very, very well known.
Or animal? I guess I don't want to decide for
Mm-hmm.
you. It could be Free Willy.
You know, it could be. He was a runner up. Explains my weight problems. No, I think my best childhood hero is Albert Einstein.
Basic!
What?
I'm making fun of you.
Oh, nice.
Totally basic.
Just like high school again.
It's just like high school all over again.
College. and
People
right
making
now.
fun of me for my deep
Yeah.
love for Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein.
Just don't go in my room. Posters everywhere.
I love it. So you're either an absolute genius for having him as your hero.
Oh wait,
Or
wait.
you're-
Just stop
or you're a
there. Just stop
poser.
there.
Yeah.
Just stop there. Just stop there because I'm an absolute genius.
Or
for
you're,
him.
or you're a poser.
Right.
Well, I know.
say it.
I loved Albert Einstein so much. I named my cat Einstein, and he's still alive today.
And is he as smart as Albert Einstein?
No, he's actually-
Has he discovered any theories?
I loved him so much that I named my cat Theory of Relativity. And let me tell you, I have not looked back since.
What's his nickname?
Theory of Relativity?
Is that short for anything?
No, what?
like
Am I
how the-
oh, everything's got to be short now.
I like how the nickname was longer than the actual name you originally gave.
What? So, James is the basic one. You can't even handle a several syllable name.
I'm on a 5th grade reading level. This
Drew,
is not
I
new.
can fight my own battles, Drew.
Mom, I love it. Let's start the show.
Okay, great.
All right, hey. Welcome to
Hi.
Worst Thing Ever.
With Dylan and Drew.
With Dylan and Drew. I am your best friend, Dylan.
I'm your worst friend, Drew.
And we are here with our fantastic friend, James Hatem.
James
right.
Hatem of the Transfers.
That's right.
Tell us about yourself, James.
Love long walks.
Love long walks.
Love long walks
With Albert
in
Einstein.
East Nashville.
Yes,
Yeah.
in East Nashville.
Pina
Right,
coladas, open alcohol
Scenic-
containers. Yeah.
Scenic East
Madonnas.
Nashville.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here when you look past the crimes.
So one of the things I love in East is that every single night I'm playing fireworks or gunshots.
I don't.
That's my favorite game.
See, Dylan, you talk about this every now and then, and I'll be honest, like I have never noticed any of this.
Oh, this happens all the time. I'm outside more than you are.
I'm still outside a decent
You
amount.
homebody.
I never noticed that. so-
Visually speaking, both these men are extremely pale. I don't know if any of them
Yeah.
go outside.
Well, I thought I was taking it from like we're both very pale, very white boys. Maybe our judgment shouldn't totally be.
Big old white boy. So James, tell the beautiful people about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is James Hatem, and I am the singer, songwriter, frontman, and guitarist for the band called The Transfers. And yeah, we have actually we have music online, and I love writing, I love performing, and so it's that's my. I also am starting up a studio, like a business thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
I remember you talking with Greg about that.
Yeah. So Greg Bruick and myself, we're in charge of a studio writers retreat and workshop retreat. So it's a lot going on, and then.
And then that soy milk company you started is
The
really
soy
taken
milk
off.
company is we took 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, but that's just any startup.
You
Any
were-
startup soy milk company.
Absolutely. You were trying too hard to try to get like the organic title in there, and then you realize getting organic soybeans is so much harder than just getting regular soybeans.
Right. And that was well, we're still working on it. You know,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
has their trials, especially in the soybean
Industry.
Especially in the soybean industry.
If you really
That's what I hear
if you
all
really
the
do your
time.
research, I mean, it's jarring.
Well, I mean, it's like cutthroat soybean industry out there. Like,
I mean, there's a reason that in most of the presidential debates so far, one of the biggest topics has been the loss of soybean jobs.
But yet everyone's afraid to talk about it. No one talks about it. Everyone's afraid to talk about it. You know, they're dancing around.
Well, we're going to talk about it here. Welcome to the new podcast.
Worst soybean ever.
Soy times. Soy times at
soybeans.
_!
Exclamation mark, question mark, asterisk. Like no one knows what's going on with the soybeans.
The new podcast, Soy What's Up, and
that must be the shortest podcast. That's actually it. Soy What's Up. All we have is the name.
Soy What's Up, and we just talk about what's up in the soy world. All right.
Wait. I'm sorry.
So James,
wait, no, let's roll with this. Drew, why don't you tell me what's up in the soy world? And then this is when 30 minutes of silence happens, and then, well, thanks for joining us.
Guys, this is great radio.
Yeah.
James, okay, so...
Well, hold on.
Go for it.
Well, hold on. I need to say something.
The big thing in the soy world right now is, of course, GMO crops,
seriously doing
which
this?
stands for Google making offenses, which is, of course, that Google is trying to destroy the soybean industry by pushing us to
Keep going.
Well, pushing us trying to push us towards the singularity, at which point we don't need to consume things anymore, maybe. So then we don't need soybeans anymore. So the big thing is that we need to take down Big Brother, Big Google. This is one of the many things that I'm tackling in my fan fiction. It's really a think piece.
The transfers.
Yes.
One of my favorite questions to ask on the show. Who does your band not sound like?
Who do we not sound
Yeah,
like?
if you had to pick an artist that you
like?
definitely don't sound like, who would that artist be?
Ooh. We don't sound like Evanescence.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Which is so rare in artists these days.
Right, because everyone always just says a bit of
Like
Evanescence.
the thing is everyone's trying to chase that Evanescence dream, and because Evanescence probably maintained the longest and strongest career of any
Absolutely,
artist.
especially when Daredevil with Ben Affleck came out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was probably the
yeah.
start and end of their career.
Brought in those big bucks.
It was either that or Hoobastank.
Which
and I
it
just
was the
didn't
start.
even-
And the end, it was the start and the end of their career, and it's a good thing that movie lasted for I think 10 years. It's 10 years in length.
Yeah.
So
it's like Hoobastank's The Reason.
Yeah.
very long album.
Yeah.
So follow up then. Now that we
Yes.
know who they don't sound like, if you got to pick 3 artists who you do sound like,
Oh, I know it right away.
hit me.
John Mayer, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews.
Love it. Man, I bet you're real popular on quads.
That's the elevator
college
pitch.
quads.
The elevator pitches: we are great to drink Jameson ginger ale too.
Oh yeah.
And avoid your RA in the freshman dorm.
always. Yeah,
Always.
I lived with Tim.
Yeah.
And
TK Hanley.
Yeah,
He was
TK
on the-
Hanley
he was on the show.
He was on the show
back in the day. One
And
of my
we-
favorite episodes.
Yeah, we got in a lot of trouble actually. We caused a lot of I guess what the kids
Lots
call
of havoc.
A lot of kids call it ruckus these days. And well,
Yeah,
I know
my
we-
high school
Popular
brother does
vining
that.
term.
well, a lot
causing a ruckus.
I think the best thing that we ever did in regards to really disobeying anything with college is I convinced Tim, the Backyard Bandits story, right?
I do, but
do you know the
let
Backyard-
Drew
Drew,
know
do you know
about
the Backyard
I don't think I do.
So I went home one day and Tim happened to be there because
As one
Tim
does.
also lived with me.
That's the thing is I go home and Tim's usually there.
Yeah, and you know what? The lock is always broken, and it's a little strange.
Well, that's the way. Well, maybe that's for you. For me, what's always weird is I show up and Tim's here, but the doors are all locked. None of the windows are open, and all the vents are bolted shut. So I'm just like, how did he get in
And he's
here?
unscrewed the lights just enough to where they're flickering, and nothing more and nothing less.
It's a real mystery. I'm just like, how did he get in here? And I've been trying to sleuth it out for
And it's
quite a
either
while.
he's staying completely still or he's shifting at 80 miles an hour. And it's just like, what is going on?
For a bulky Chicagan boy, yeah, he moves very stealthily.
Backyard Bandits.
Oh, the
What
Backyard
is
Bandits.
this?
Yeah, so the Backyard Bandits is Tim Millarski. His nickname was Two Steppin' Timmy.
Right.
My nickname was One Jumping Jack James. There's no backstory. That's how it is. And he may be madly in love, but also hate a woman named Donna Dance, who no backstory. That's just her name. And now that we're all confused and caught up.
Donna Dance.
Yeah,
All right.
Donna Dance. Donna Dance.
So
that
two
was it. Donna Dance. Two-Step and Timmy and Donna Dance.
James, you would be great at Dungeons and Dragons.
You would be very good.
You know,
I feel
that's
like
another part
you
of
would
my
be very
life that
good.
I dare not speak of at all. Because it was a couple years. I went home one day and I said, Tim, let's scare Grace McCaw today. And there was no reason.
Great Grace is mutual friend of all.
Oh yeah,
ours.
of all of ours. We
Grace
love Grace.
entrepreneur.
We've talked about her
Entrepreneur.
before. She's wonderful.
Baker. She's
redhead.
had questions on here.
Yeah.
Violinist.
Amazing.
She's probably killed a few people in her time.
I ran into her
I'm
mom the
probably
other
on the
day
list.
at my job,
Beth?
and we had a
Oh,
wonderful conversation.
love Beth, love
Yes,
Beth.
she's so
She's
sweet.
really great. And why didn't Grace get that? You know? No. And I always wonder. So anyway, as we've given her such higher regards, back to the story, we're going to scare Grace to death.
Right.
Yes.
And so Tim and I, through trial and error, found out that the most terrifying sound is to get a back scratcher and scratch it against anything except a back, and it's the most terrifying sound. So we went. I got information. I found out where she lived. This is and so we went.
She lived. Can I get in here? She lived 2 doors down from you.
Right, but we're very busy people, so
You make it sound like it's so
we knew she was.
sleuthy.
You worked really hard.
We knew she was in the vicinity, you know.
She
and,
lived literally 20 feet away from you.
She was an RRA. She was an RRA. So it's not. It's I'm in every right. So we took a back scratcher, and I told Tim, I was like, Tim, we're gonna go to her window. I'm gonna back scratch her window. You're gonna hide in the bush. When she looks out and you see her, say it's Grace, so I know, because we were 87% sure it was her window. It wasn't 100%. And so I was like, when we know it for sure, I'm gonna slam my body against the window, scream, and it's gonna be hilarious. So just like, I was wearing all black. I was wearing a baseball cap, probably this one that I'm wearing here, that the audience can see, obviously. And
Great radio.
Yeah, great radio. Got the face for it.
Can I just say that all of this sounds like a great way to get murdered on accident?
Well, here's what happened. I'm wearing, I'm dressed on the occasion. Tim is he's gelled his hair. He's wearing khakis and a navy colored shirt that says "Go Navy." And so,
I thought he was going when you said like greased his hair. I thought he was going like an Outsiders vibe with this.
No, yeah,
Definitely not.
no, it was just
Definitely just
it was
Tim.
just completely opposite.
Tim being Tim to the max.
Yeah, Tim being Tim. And so what happened was we get there, and I got the back scratcher. I scratched the window. I see a shadow. I go up against the home. And the shade goes to the side, but Tim's too busy trying not to be seen in the bush and hiding to look to see if it was Grace. And so the figure goes away, because obviously that's a terrifying sound, and they don't know where it's come from. And so I said, Tim, was it Grace? And Tim said, I don't know. I couldn't get a good look. And I said, well, it's either I do this again or we get out of here, because they're probably going to do something. We've done something. They're going to do something. And so I said, I'm talking to Tim. We're like, okay, let's do it one more time. As we say this, 2 figures, one from one side of the house, one from the other side of the house, flank the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's Beepo. It's
Oh
Belmont
my
Police.
God.
No.
So they run, and this is classic Beepo. They ran right past us and went to the window. Now, meanwhile, the back scratcher, now I'm hiding it behind my back,
right.
Ironically enough. And so the Beepo is just staring at this window, and then one of them just said, "Well, this is the window." And I said, I don't know why I even said it. I could have easily left. I was like, well, yeah, that looks like the window, as if I was part of that conversation.
There's just like 5 people like hanging around this window. They're like, yep, that sure is a window.
I was the rookie cop getting the coffee, and I was like, yeah, I was trying to fit in. To which they turned around, put a flashlight on us, and they're like, who are you? What are you doing here? And they put it on Tim, and Tim literally says this. And then looks at me.
Truest Tim. Two-step and Timmy in his final form.
That was his final dance. And so he looks at me, and I looked at him, and then the cops looked at me, and I said, "I'm pulling a prank, and I don't know what anyone else is doing here." And so they said, go down to the lights where we can see you. And so we go down to the lights. And I said, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm pulling a prank. Like, this is our back scratcher. We just back scratched a window on our friend Grace." And they're like, "Well, if this is not your friend, we're going to bring you downtown." And I said,
which downtown is literally just down to the
downtown
other
is probably
edge of the campus.
the ministry building
This is campus police. So downtown
is locking us in the water tower. Or the bell tower for the night.
is maybe a quarter of a mile away.
Yeah, the Belmont security office is right next to University Ministries, so they probably would have just like sat you in the office and been like, "All right, really, you guys really better think about this.
Yeah, you guys really better
We're gonna
think
sit you
about
down in
bullshit.
some comfy couches, and you better really think about your actions tonight."
Well, so then they're like, "We're gonna go see." And then, by the way, I'm still 87% sure. I'm not completely sure this is Grace's house. So so they go up there, and I was so happy because the door opens and I see just the most craziest red hair, and I was like, "It's Grace." And so we ended up having a laugh probably about a year later about it. She was very upset. But yeah, that was it. And then Tim was really upset because he's like, I don't get in trouble. And I was like, "It's okay. Everything's fine." He's like, "They're going to send out a mass email in security. I know it." And I was like, no, they're not. And so the next morning I get a text message from Tim of a screenshot of a security email that went out.
Oh no!
And they did say they're like two Belmont affiliated students last night, and then so and so.
I think I remember reading that actually.
Yeah, it was like, and I felt really bad because I specifically told Tim we weren't going to include an email, and we were, and then he filed the restraining order, and we've been great ever since.
Oh, good old TK Hanley.
Good old TK Hanley.
Haven't seen you two in the same room in 2 years.
Legally, yeah, it's about 2 years. Yeah. This very night, it's been 2 years.
This very night.
Where are we again?
James, can I just say you're looking particularly like questioning at this moment.
You know what?
You look like someone. You look like you have the face of someone.
You do have a very inquisitive look on your face right now. I know that once again,
that's a question.
Bad radio, but you look very questioning.
You know what? And for the folks at home, I do look as such. And my question is: This is number 12 for you guys, correct?
Yes, it is. Episode number 12.
Episode number 12. That's great. Why did it take so long to invite me on the show?
Hey man, I'm putting that on you.
No. And you know what? I know what I loved. You both kind of like did the little laugh and back away from the microphone. And I wonder what, So
well, the thing is, we were trying to lay the groundwork because, like, you don't want to use your hottest material like right away. Like, you don't want to go right out the gate and not have anything to back it up with, right?
Okay.
So we were going at this and we're like, all right, we got to bring James in. But
you're the second string pitcher.
Second string pitcher was just kind of like, all right, we really need to, we really need to kick it into 14th gear here.
Also, I asked you 3 months ago, and it's taken you this long to actually come and do it.
Well, I needed to download the internet first. So.
Needed to figure out what this thing. Have you heard of IE9? I think is what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't think anyone uses that.
I hear it's all the rage these days.
I don't believe you're correct.
Mm-hmm. So needed to get on that train first.
I liked Drew's answer. Dylan, your answer was immediately very aggressive.
Screw you, man.
I'm going to ask you your question. But that was my inquisitive face. Now I have a very dull face, and now I'm ready for
yes.
For
now that you've worked through that part, there's
now that I've been able to,
a lot of inner demons have been.
Yeah, well, see, you naturally look very handsome when you're in a questioning mood. So you unfortunately just went from like a solid 9 to a solid 8.
Once again, viewers at home know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, they just have to imagine your flowing brown hair,
viewers of the
deep blue eyes.
And what they don't know is that I've bleached my hair completely.
Well,
my chest hair only. My chest hair has been completely bleached.
You were getting on me a few weeks ago for talking about my plant Reggie, who just quick shout out to the listeners, looking real good right now, right in front of us. Reggie's looking beautiful.
We talked about this.
So I want to get into our first segment, Wow. Good job with those words, Drew. I want to get into our first
You
segment.
sure did it.
It's called Best Lover in Every Way.
Oh, I love this one.
James and the listeners, you may know this one as Perfect in Every Way.
Everyone's
Fun-
favorite bar game.
Yes, fun
Or
game.
sleepover game.
Yes, fun sleepover game when you just got the whole crew there and you've just finished up, like you're eating popsicles and drumsticks, and then you're like, pillow fight. And then now you're settling in, you're like, let's ask each other questions. And this is the go-to
Mid-pillow
game.
fight.
Mid-pillow fight.
Exactly.
Hey, let's ask questions.
Mid-pillow fight. So, Best Lover in Every Way is our take on that. So, Dylan, hit us up with a first one.
Sure. All right. So,
Tee us up.
tee us up. Right here on deck.
Live.
At bat.
Live.
Ooh, we're doing it live.
Live and
We're
not
doing
edited.
it live and not edited. Best lover in every way. But she insists on drinking 6 cups of coffee a day, and no, she has not built up a caffeine immunity.
I'm ready for this one because I work at a coffee place.
6
And-
cups, man. That's like having an IV in your vein and just being like, cool, let's do this for
All
the
right,
rest of the
I've
day.
said literally like half a sentence.
I know,
and you're
I'm
like,
already defensive.
I said half a sentence, and you're like, you know what? I think it's time for me to talk.
He's going back to his old Dylan ways, like, I'm going to ask you this.
hey, Drew.
Yeah.
Hey, how long have you known me?
Well, technically for about 4 years,
Right,
but
so
I'm
you
starting to think
understand
that I've
how
never
it
known
works.
you at all.
You
I'm starting to
understand
think
how it
that
works.
this whole time it's been a line.
I
I've
hate it when
never
you two
known
fight. I hate it when you two fight.
So, no, that's gonna be a place to compress. Just bringing you inside the actor's studio and letting you know what our mixing process on this episode is gonna be like.
Yeah.
You're just going to hear out of my Niagara Falls, and it's going to be my tears, actually, just flowing.
So, I work at a coffee place, and
Here we go.
when
That's like a classic. Well, let me tell you why I'm important.
yeah, I provide a very important service to the world,
Right.
and I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of information
Yeah,
to
you
pass
do
on.
know a lot about caffeine and caffeine intake.
Once people hit around like the 3 or 4 cup mark, they start to get a little insufferable, I've noticed. Where like at that point, it's just kind of like, I can't deal with you at all. Like I'm having a normal day and you're on a different plane. Like you are in a different reality from me.
Not even a Boeing 747. Probably something with Southwest
Yeah.
Airlines. I'm really proud of this pun I just made.
I just want to say, and like I noted this last time, once again, Dylan, some killer improv. Some really good improv right there.
Quality stuff. Quality stuff.
This is why I practice on the daily. Hit me up. Keep this one going.
So no is my answer is no, because I can't you start to hit a zenith where all of your words just become vowels. And I like being able to understand people when they say things. Yes, Dylan?
Can you give us an example of what that might sound like?
Yeah, it's just like you give someone their 4th cup, and this is not me trying to judge customers or my other coworkers.
Oh, I'm judging both of those things. Both parties.
Because I'm like, they're all wonderful. But you give someone their 4th cup, and all of a sudden they're just like, hey, how's it going? Can I get like, it's just like another, and this one, like, Aaron's telling me that, like, I
sure
drink.
they're not, like,
sometimes
high
people
or
think that I have
homeless?
too much coffee.
Drew is using so many hand signals right now.
I can take coffee so good.
You almost hit me in the face with your hands, man. That's how people. Is that really how people talk after their 4th cup?
Well, no,
People
that
just
was
start gouging
that
people's
was just
eyes out.
me,
Terrifying.
That was just me being upset about you interrupting earlier. I'm gonna pass it off to James now, though.
Okay. I would marry her. Do you want to know why? Or
I would love to know why.
Okay.
Paint me a picture.
I could draw you an illustration.
You could do that too.
In fact,
Your
here,
choice.
I just did it. I
Wow,
just did it right here.
that was quick.
And for the folks at home, it's amazing.
Wow.
It does look
And they're
really
all-
good.
it does look incredible.
It doesn't really have anything to do with the subject matter.
Well, that's not really important.
Yeah,
But you do have a definite impressionist style. I feel like Monet would be very proud of
yeah.
you. I can see your
I was actually
influences.
I was about to say that
Is that
that exact same thing. So
it's a think piece because On one hand,
you know what it is.
like-
let's talk about the thing we're
first-
staring at right
yeah,
now.
At first I thought it was a drawing of Dylan, and then I was like, wait, that's a nose. And that's what's interesting about it is that it's kind of a metaphor, I think.
And actually, the title of the piece is "No One Knows."
well, I thought the title was just going to be like "He Smelly."
Okay. No, but you know what? This woman would, she would keep me young. She would keep me, like it would be a very hyper kind of, and there wouldn't be,
That's true.
But then there would be the crash. There would be the crash about a couple hours later, and that's when I would drink.
The Crash by Dave Matthews Band.
Yeah, that we would listen to Crash, and
I don't know that you said the Crash, and in my head I just went into me, yeah.
That was a great Dave Matthews impression.
To you. Yeah, I'm great at Dave Matthews impressions.
And modest.
I try really hard.
No.
I'm about to hit you up with another one.
All right.
Best lover in every way, but every time you guys get on an airplane, they try to hotbox it. Like they try to hotbox every airplane you get on.
Like with weed?
Like with weed.
Oh,
and it becomes a whole ordeal. And the thing is, like, you don't actually get any weed past security. So,
Yeah,
like,
TSA
they
would
don't
literally-
have-
Yeah,
they don't.
catch
Well,
that so
you know what?
fast.
Actually, never mind. I have a story.
I kind of want to hear the story.
Yeah.
I do have a story about weed going through the airport.
Okay.
Okay,
And-
you've intrigued me.
Yeah,
You've piqued my rural interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was. Let's all talk at the same time. No, so I was doing a trip. I wasn't doing a trip. I was going on a trip.
Doing a trip, like
was-
how we say in English.
I was doing very good in school, and I was doing a trip. No, all right. So I was going on a trip to study jazz in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. I was going with a group, and a friend of mine, who I won't say his name, smoked a lot of the marijuana, right? Mm-hmm. And
The reefer, as
knew
the young people
reefer,
say.
yeah. The really hip people say that, but we said, this guy has some things, with him at this very moment. But it was almost taboo to speak of because we didn't want to get involved. We didn't want to be witnesses. And we're going through security, and I made the lovely mistake of standing right next to him.
Ooh.
And he had asthma. Okay, so he was putting his asthma, device and everything through the security line. Now, we're in Newark International Airport in New Jersey.
Yeah. Mhm.
So they're really, really strict there, right? And so he leans over to me and says, I have weed in my storage container in my asthma case. Very casually.
That's
like-
very ironic. Also, he
Yeah,
has
yeah,
a
absolutely.
literal breathing deficiency.
Oh
He's
my
like,
gosh,
oh yeah, I
absolutely.
got that dankest kush.
Well, I have a lot of friends that used asthma tool, medicine tools to smoke marijuana. But that's just New Jersey charm there.
Very
we were
creative.
very, very. So we were going through, and my heart just started racing, right? And I was just like, we're gonna in trouble. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. And as soon as he says that, the security alarm goes off with his bag, and they're like, whose bag is this? And he raises his hand, proud of it.
My God.
And so so the group of us gets pulled over to the side, and the TSA officer just goes, what's in the bag? He goes, my asthma medicine. And I said, is that all that's in this bag? And he said, yep, it's just my asthma medicine. And they looked at him, and they said, okay, we believe you, and handed him his bag, and we walked into the airport. And we got on the plane, and when we landed the plane, the individual looked at me and said, all right, I have a guy that sells here. I'm going to go get more.
Oh no!
It was amazing.
At the airport?
As soon as we landed, like on the plane.
This guy
he
is
somehow
efficient.
Yeah, he was very, I almost want to give him, I almost want to say his name to give him business.
Yeah.
Because he's very, very efficient. But I was terrified. So
I'm fascinated by. There are multiple levels to this. Of one, just showing up in this city and being like, "Oh, I already have."
you don't even know, and I'm not even going to get into half of the stories. We almost saw someone die twice.
Whoa!
Not the same person. but I almost saw people die twice. So it was a really interesting trip. But to go back to it, you can bring marijuana on the plane
As long
as you have asthma.
So do you want to sacrifice that?
as long as you have asthma and no problem lying. What I'm fascinated by is that he
Footnote,
took the
Google it.
risk to bring weed on the plane and had a way to immediately on arrival get more. Like he did not need to do it at all.
These are the thrills that people seek. You know, these are the rushes that they get.
All right, James, hit us.
I would not.
Hit us with.
I would not. With that story,
Well, I
with
appreciate
that story on the side, I would not do it. Yeah. No, because you know what? Then she's gonna smell like, you know what I mean. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not.
I'm gonna go with a solid no too. I think that is.
I was so caught up.
So dumb.
I was so caught up that I didn't even in the story that I didn't even realize you guys hadn't answered my question.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
That was actually I made up the story. I just didn't want to answer your question.
Yo, that question sucks.
Yeah, like one of our favorite
and
things
if
to say. Great improv.
And if I lie good enough,
Great
then I
improv.
can get out of
Great
it. What's yours, James?
I'm so happy you asked because I have one. The best lover in every way, but the individual sleep screams in the middle of the night at random times,
Ooh.
Ooh, like night terrors?
like night terrors.
Oh no, that's sad. That's unfortunate.
That's
on,
like
on quite a few levels.
that's
yeah,
a
it's
bummer,
very-
but daddy needs a sleep.
I'm so uncomfortable with everything you just said. Mostly the fact that you just referred to yourself as daddy.
Daddy, yeah.
I need you to never. I need you, Dylan. Look at me. Look at me. I need you to look at me. Open your eyes. Open your eyes and look me.
Okay, all right, I'm looking.
Look me in my eyes. No. If I had a spray bottle like they have for cats, every time you said daddy, you'd be getting some of the good stuff sprayed in your face.
Jeez.
All right.
That was
Now-
a really poor choice of words, Drew.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Especially after just talking about weed. Anyways,
This is a great episode.
yeah, we're doing a great job. Like, you
Yeah.
know how we always try to keep things like generally PG? We are doing a killer job.
David and
Yeah.
Teresa Roth gonna love this one.
Daddy
Yes.
spraying Dylan in the face.
I think to like this week's David Roth rating is going to be like understands it more than he'd like to.
An unfortunate 3.
So
yeah.
I need a clarification now. Is this
Okay.
like yelling words? Is this yelling vowels? Is this like
Just straight
Batman
up,
voice?
almost like pig squeal yelling, kind of like almost like really doing a lot of damage to the vocal cords.
Ooh, jeez. I mean, like, I feel like that's a thing that maybe, hopefully, there's like some kind of medical or therapeutic ways of working through.
No, it's gonna happen. You know,
It's
no
just
matter
gonna
what,
happen?
no matter what happens, there will be night terrors, like drastic night terrors.
Sheesh.
Okay, so I hate to be that guy. Could we sleep in different rooms? I know that's a bummer question, but
Well, you know,
I mean-
I think that's a fair thing because, like, we, you know, in our society, we always assume that, like, when you're in a serious relationship, like, of course, you're going to live together at some point or, like,
Right.
share a room. So, you know, I think it's fair to say you can
Well-
have a serious relationship and be in separate rooms.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, I mean, this isn't. There's two things that this is not. This is not a 1950s TV show where you sleep in separate beds, and this is not the Victorian era, right? This is 2016. A lot of progressive things happening in this time.
A lot of progressive things happening right now, like cuddling. And
You shut your mouth, boy.
smooches.
When you whisper that,
Yes.
Sometimes
Drew-
in public.
Drew, have you ever thought about narrating a romance novel? I think you might have missed your calling.
like a Danielle Steele, any novel by Danielle Steele.
He looked very handsome.
What did he just say?
Did he just say handsome? Oh my star!
Really
my
doing
good
it for
stars
me.
and
Really
glare.
doing it.
Dylan is always
Okay,
a Southern
there's-
belle with his voice. Did
There's
you catch that?
Yeah,
Oh my
this is
goodness!
only imitation.
Did he say handsome?
The only description in all of the books I narrated is that he looked very handsome, and everyone's just like, "Oh wow, that's all I needed to hear."
And Dylan's gonna be in his midlife crisis, like, he's sweet as sweet tea.
I think I'd do it because I feel like, with any relationship, there's no guarantee how it's gonna work out. So this one though, I don't want to use something that's kind of like a medical or psychological ongoing dilemma for them as just a thing that I'm like, nope, right off the bat, no. I don't want to discount people like that.
That's fair. I would do it if I have the caveat of not sleeping in the same room.
Just
because I physically would.
That's fair.
I gotta sleep.
Do the sleep
I gotta sleep.
thing. The sleeping?
But what people don't know, it's Dylan, he gets his beauty sleep. It's very obvious.
It's very important.
Oh, yes.
It's very...
Can I just say...
I'm a podcast 8.
Can I just
Real
say...
Life 6, podcast 8.
Can I just say, if Dylan were in a romance novel that I was narrating, here's how it would go when he'd get introduced. He looked very handsome.
There it is. That's Drew's signature move.
Grandma, sweet tea.
All right. I want to kick it off into the main segment of the show, which is, of course, best and worst thing.
Yeah, it's the thing we actually do on the show.
It's the thing we do.
It's our actual only bit. It's our gimmick, our shtick.
Best and worst time to go-karting. Now, there's lots of times when you go-karting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hanukkah.
You could do it on Hanukkah.
Very popular.
4th of July.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in Mississippi.
Yeah, totally.
I want to know what the worst time to go-karting is.
Okay. I think the worst time to go-karting is probably during your high school valedictorian speech at graduation. I mean, you and Chet, you and Chet might not have agreed on anything, but he deserves your respect. He deserves your respect while he stands up there and is talking about the future of our generation. He cannot be up there like, we're the next presidents, the next doctors, the next teachers, the next. We're just going through the aisles and stuff like that. So disrespectful.
Very disrespectful. Chet worked long and hard for this, and
I see. You lost me because no one named Chet is a valedictorian. Chet and Chaz and Zeke.
Thad.
Thad is the furthest thing from.
These are all names.
Maybe Helga.
We're really alienating a very specific part of our audience.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm okay with that because they alienated me at every school function for 4 years.
This is revenge.
It's okay, Drew. It's
yeah.
okay. Drew's actually crying right now, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
crying a lot. And can I say my crying doesn't look so handsome. But I'm not ashamed of it. But I'm not ashamed of it.
James,
what
would you say is the worst as well? Because I feel like you also have something to put into this.
I do. Did you see my face?
I did.
It was very much inviting.
It's very inquisitive.
Yeah, you know what? I think probably the worst time, one of the worst times to go-karting, would be mid-eulogy at a funeral.
Oh God!
I would say that would be a very terrible time to go.
No.
Now Thad, he wasn't a good man. He wasn't a good man.
Thad, the guy that who also earlier gave the speech, the valedictorian speech.
Yes,
Okay.
Thad, he wasn't a good man, but there are a lot of strong messages and lessons we can learn from how he lived his life. Lessons like, and I especially like the idea of you go-karting up and the go-kart is like the pallbearer and you just slam dunk that casket into the ground.
Oh yeah. Really?
And you do a Mario Kart jump over the hole, and
you
just
slam
catches.
dunk it none too lightly, where it just kind of falls in, and it does
the body
pop
falls
open.
out.
Yeah, it falls out, and it's diagonal.
I'm not about this.
Yeah, that's what, or maybe it would be
And it pops open, and wait, who's that? That's not Thad. Better call in Scully and Mulder. That's right, I'm doing the same bit as last week.
Who's in the coffin? Who is in the coffin? X-Files jokes.
What's in the box? Do you ever seen that movie?
I've seen that scene.
Ice Age, yeah.
It was immediate.
I think we've all seen Ice Age. I think we've all seen that.
Was that Ice Age?
So I would say that the best time to go-karting is when you've learned the 5 tenets to go-karting success.
What?
The 5 tenets.
What?
The first of
Drew,
which...
hold on. What?
So the 5 tenets to go-karting success, you didn't see these on like most English classrooms.
I actually saw it.
I need you to stop. I need you to stop. I'm going to outline this. First off, let me just say, I can't believe that you haven't seen it before because most English classrooms when I was growing up would have like this printout with the 5 pillars of go-karting success, and they would be literal Grecian columns with like these terms written on them.
This was right after the War of Northern Aggression lesson.
This was, yes. So the 5 tenets to go-karting success are, 1, it is a sport. It is.
So it's affirming.
Yes, it is a sport. 2, it's not for kids. It's
I believe
not
you.
for kids. Because on the track, kiddos, I'm a rambunctious roadhog with no reservations, and I'm ready. And if I have to knock some heads to win, you know I'm going to throw down.
I feel like you're the bad guy in the Karate Kid movie.
Yeah, watch out because I'm going to cause a ruckus.
The way that you
gonna
looked
cut-
at me
you're
when
gonna-
you said that, it looked
need
like you
you
were
to
probably
know.
just going to give an offering at church. It was not.
Drew,
I'm going to cause a ruckus.
let
me tell you, kids.
I'm going to cause a ruckus.
can I make a really bad joke?
Yeah.
Please.
You're gonna cause a Darius ruckus. Dylan Roth, he makes awful puns.
3, it's not about fun. It's about winning. 4, it's about accepting that deep down you're a dangerous speed demon with nothing to lose.
He should be a motivational speaker.
This sounds like your headmate. like your headmate is someone who's like, I'm a dangerous speed demon with nothing to lose, and this is Drew. We share the same head.
What's number 5?
Hi, my name is Snazzy Carlisle, and let me tell you about the 5. And that's the name that I'm going to use for the rest of this.
Your racing name?
Yes, that's my racing name is Snazzy Carlisle, and I need both of you to refer to me as that for the rest of the episode. 5, summer, winter, rain or shine, buckle up because it's go time.
Oh man, that needs to be on every shirt in the South. That needs to be on every.
That
shirt
does
in the
actually
South.
sound like a NASCAR shirt.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
We're sitting
being
on
honest.
millions here.
Absolute millions. James, hey.
Hey,
So-
Dylan. I didn't
so-
think you saw me over here. That's
So we're
good.
friends, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a long pause, but I'll take
Well, no,
that as a yes.
I was stretching.
He was working through a lot of memories and just kind of like summing up for like real quick, like weighing out like good and bad. Okay, slightly
Like,
in
it was
the good.
that one time, but okay.
Okay, cool. So there was a time when we were new friends and we just met. We just joined choir together.
Okay, Michael Jackson.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Do you
That was
remember
when-
the time when we first met? Do you remember? All right, so
This is the whitest. Can that please?
Yeah,
please be the theme song for this show.
I want to apologize to everyone who has taste. And don't get me wrong, I love Michael Jackson. But the thing I just did was
Not
was
Michael
a
Jackson.
crime.
Yeah.
Guys, I just like straight up cackled. That was hilarious.
Such a jovial. Guys, I straight up cackle.
a gnarly chuckle.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we did meet in choir. So yeah.
Yeah. So there was a time that, you could call ourselves rookies
Yeah.
in our friendship.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm doing a great job of setting this
This
one
is
up.
a great segue.
Where could you possibly be going with
What
this?
would you say is the worst rookie mistake? I'm very proud
Nailed
of
that
that.
segue on a dime.
So, you know what? I actually, I'm so unprepared, but I think I have one. No, I think the worst rookie mistake would be not knowing what your boss looks like on day one.
Ooh, that is a bad one.
Not
There's
knowing
some-
what your boss looks like at all.
Now, tell me how this can turn out. Like, how's this going to pan out?
Probably pretty terrible. Like for example, let's say the water cooler talk. Like, hey, you have a great bum. I should say.
Let me just say, you, my friend, are quite handsome. quite handsome. Excuse me, I am your boss.
Yeah, I'm your boss. Or maybe you could be saying like, man, like that. Or maybe a woman stopped by the office and you're like, oh, you know, or somebody who stops by, like, you know, and then it's the boss's, you know, significant other, you know, or like, hey, they're seeing each other, you know, or something like that. Or maybe you pulled into his or her parking spot.
Yeah, or like cut them off on the
interstate.
If you cut them off on the interstate, then it's just like
then they're just gonna cut you off.
Bad
from
news, Bucko.
The money udder.
Don't call it that.
The company money udder.
Oh my god.
And like you pull in and you're just like, all right, I have a number of things to ask you. One, how did you get your license plate to say Snazmaster? That's far too many characters for a license plate. Two, why did you do this to me?
That's actually what my license plate says.
Snazmaster.
So yeah, I would say that would be the worst rookie mistake.
Solid.
That was pretty bad. The thing is, I got one that I think might take the cake.
Bring it to the table.
Hit me.
So
Don't actually hit me, please.
all right, but only because you asked.
Okay.
Only because you said please. So I think that the worst rookie mistake is when you go out and you buy a rug with a chevron pattern, only to take it home and discover that it totally clashes with the rest of your house's distinct houndstooth floor design. And you're just like, no, these don't fit together at all.
Hey, Drew.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
What?
Use Google, Dylan. It's literally the tagline to our show. If you have a question and you need to know something from me, I just need you to learn this ability to Google the thing.
Aaron Anderson would be very disappointed in me.
Well, you know,
what are you talking about?
Here's the deal. Here, Drew actually brings up a really good point because I've been down this road.
Oh yes, we've all been down.
We've all
made this mistake.
Every one of us. I don't even care what you're doing. You've made the mistake.
Yeah.
You know,
you have bought a chevron pattern for your houndstooth floor, and you felt like a total drangus,
to say the least.
What is a drink?
a total drangus, Dylan. What is the best rookie mistake?
You're leaving me with so many questions.
I think that's part of the charm. That's part of the Drew charm.
You know, more demand than supply. That's what I'm trying to give you here.
Best rookie mistake.
Do it.
Probably got to be thinking you can make a difference. Just kidding.
It's no.
I still have some faith. This election cycle hasn't ruined everything for me yet. Not yet. Really, it's falling into a vat of nuclear waste.
Yeah.
Because man,
at work,
yeah, you'll get some superpowers out of that crap.
You're just at the law firm.
No, what?
You're at the law firm. And
what
you're
law firm
down
has
and you don't
nuclear
even
waste?
notice the vat of nuclear waste. James knows what I'm talking about.
I've seen it.
Once again, we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been down this road.
Right by the
worked at law
rug is the
firms?
nuclear waste.
Yes, exactly. You're just walking down. You're like, oh, I got to get to the boss's office and apologize for those things I said earlier.
By the water cooler.
Yes.
Look how it came full circle. We were all working in the same place.
I want to
radio.
apologize for everything I said about their bum.
Oh,
and
And one more time, how would you describe them?
you don't
their looks.
quite nice. And
You
call,
dog.
sir.
You dog.
Well, I never.
pleasant today.
Dylan Southern Belle is back. Dylan Southern Belle's out.
So you're walking down and you're just like, oh man, I'm really stressing about this. And then you totally trip and fall into the vat of nuclear waste that they just have chilling there. And like the thing is, it's especially embarrassing because Kay pointed out to you at least like twice. And like, you know, like you should have really taken her advice and
It's
like
true.
noticed that.
But now you're like Captain America or
yes,
whatever.
but now you have the good powers. So
Yeah.
Those good powers.
those good powers.
We're talking about powers. Talking about like superpowers.
Talk about superpowers.
Superpowers.
Actually, I don't know. I have a question.
You have a question for
sure.
us?
Yeah. I have a question for you guys.
Whoa, pulling an audible.
So if you
Speaking of which, this episode of Worst Thing Ever with Dylan and Drew is brought to you by Audible.
someone needs to pay the bills, and it's that company. So if you were trapped in a room with someone that you didn't like,
Yeah.
what would be the best superpower to give them?
Ooh, that is a good question.
That is
Thank
a really
you.
good question.
Thank you.
Ooh.
All right. So the thing I'm struggling with here
Talk to me.
I don't like them. There's usually one reason I don't like people.
Okay.
And it's because the things they say out of their face are, first off, bad things. Things that I don't think people should say. Second off, they say them a lot, and they say lots of things. And also they say them loud. So bad things, fast and loud, which is just like a big recipe for a disaster.
Right.
So once again, Drew, how are we friends again? I don't say the bad things, but I do say things fast and
you know what?
loud.
You know what's
Fast and
crazy? Is
loud.
I
I'm
caught
2
the
out of
angle where
3.
Drew actually was thinking about how you guys are friends. I caught that angle.
Yeah. Well, that was a big part of it. It was just like, what power would I give Dylan? And I think that
Please be power of flight. Please be power of flight.
it's
Please
not
be power of
flight. It's not flight.
Ah, come on.
Okay.
So
That's my favorite one.
I want to give them some. I want to give this person a power that like sabotages that ability for them, or their ability to say bad words at me.
Absolutely.
Which is
Like, ooh, dang it.
like, ooh, dang it. Which I'm just like, hey, don't swear around me.
Ooh, heckies.
Hey.
Get him back. Get Drew back. He's upset.
So, yeah, they're saying the bad cusses around me, and I'm
Yeah.
getting really upset.
Yeah.
So I would give them the power where their voice, when they say things, it's kind of like a super yell where the vibrations cause damage to the things around them.
You know what? I married someone like that.
Oh, you Joyzy people.
Oh my!
You Joyzy people. And you
so-
prenups.
Now, on one hand, this seems like I'm just giving them the ability to do more damage to me in the way that they already are. But here's the thing, is they're not going to be happy with this power. You know, they're going to have to learn to be really careful with it. So they're going to have to learn to really just be quiet.
Okay, so this is like a Cyclops situation, like from the X-Men, where like if he takes off his shades, his eyes automatically shoot beams and
So
stuff.
he can't fall in love or something.
Oh, I was
like
thinking
that.
this was
Yeah,
like
well,
a...
so he can't take his sunglasses
I was
off.
thinking this
fall
was
in
like
love.
maybe a Cyclops situation.
Yeah, sure.
Cyclopses don't fall in love.
Hey, James, how would you describe how Cyclops looks?
How would I describe how Cyclops
Like how attractive he might be?
I'd say decent.
Are you talking about in X-Men?
Yeah.
Agreeable.
I think that he's a good looking guy.
Yeah, fine.
You guys are giving me some very loud answers.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think he looks
Decent.
handsome.
So Dylan.
Oh my god.
All right, Dylan, hit us with your answer to this one.
Oh man.
Wrestling with it.
Yeah.
Netflix powers.
Netflix powers.
All right,
So
explain.
he or she has the ability to project an interactive Netflix interface onto walls. Sound from the movies comes out of their ears, and I can go in and pick up a nice Mad Men episode and go from there. And I could just be like, "Cool, man. You and I both don't like each other, but we can both agree that Mad Men has some slick writing in it."
Mad Men, that show that you watch all the time.
Yeah, Mad Men, that show that I watched one episode of and made me
the
feel
last one.
sad things, so I
Just
didn't
the
watch
last
it
one.
anymore.
Did this come from somewhere organic? Like, is this something that happened in your life? And like, if so, what did you do?
Yeah, my first marriage.
Your first marriage. So how did that go?
It was with Darlene.
Darlene.
No, not Darlene.
With
Darlene.
who was it? Darla Dance or
Donna Dance,
Donna Dance?
which was Darlene's dirty cousin. Darlene's dirty cousin, Donna Dance.
Gotcha. So this was some.
And that's coming to
this
you
was
from
some
One Jump Jump Jack
familial
James.
drama.
Yeah, this was.
Hitting us hot with that New Jersey familial drama.
Did you try to do a New Jersey accent?
No, I didn't try even a little bit.
Your face, your tongue just gave up. I just saw you drool a little bit. No. So say this one more time. Ask me this one more time.
Is this so? This is a thing that happened in your life. It sounds like, or like, what's the story behind this question, and what is your answer?
Actually, I'm thinking of a woman that was in my life.
Yes.
When I thought of this question.
Yes.
And I really did not. I really did not care for this woman. And still don't. So I was thinking how to be able to, really upset the person. Really upset the person. If I do not like. So we're going to be in a room. And in that room, they'll have the ability to fly. Because that is the most annoying thing.
Very contained.
Very contained.
Dylan's dream turned into a nightmare.
It's true.
It's true. So
you just made you just made every happy dream I've ever had just ever so slightly sadder.
Mm-hmm. So you can fly, but you're in this very small room in a very, very small
place. Could I flap
place.
around? Why is it me?
And why would you be flapping around?
You're like a bird with your wings clipped.
What?
I'm just trying to write a Seal song.
You immediately started sweating profusely and breathing heavily into the mic.
I'm trying to write a Seal song. I'm working on my solo artist career.
Good. It sounded really good.
Thank you. That's all I've got so far, but I think it's all I need. So Dylan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions I wrestle with on a day-to-day basis.
Uh-huh.
And
can you tell me 2 of them?
Yes, one of them is what would it be like if I had gills on my feet? Because on
classic.
Yes, because on one hand, like
I mean,
wouldn't have to
already answered that question.
All right, trying to weasel in on the philosophy jokes.
It's your territory, I realize, but sometimes I could take a little chunk.
Like the name Wittgenstein.
A little piece of my land to myself. A homestead, one might call it.
So, what would it be like if I had gills on my feet? That's one of them. 2, what would it be like if I wore poofier shirts? And I just imagine that. Yeah.
Okay.
But one that I've been wrestling with today, and it's a new one.
Okay. Well,
so those are ones that I haven't had an answer for.
Let it out. No, get him back here. Get him back here.
Come on.
Get him
back.
back.
Come back.
I'm sorry. It's really the question's really stressful for me, and every time I think about it, it's like a lot of emotions.
Let it go.
What's the worst American tradition?
Oh, wow.
What's the worst American tradition? Because we have a lot.
We do have a lot of
And most of them are bad. But I want to know what the worst one is.
Okay, well, I could go with the easy answers, which would be total hemispheric carnage or a history of systemic compression.
Oh, yes, easy answers.
I'm going to go with deep fried Oreos.
So good.
Yeah,
deep fried Oreos, really, definitely the worst American tradition.
Yeah, really like going after like the activist points that matter today.
Oh, man. I love that.
The hot dialogues
they are so tasty, but good Lord, just the idea that they exist is an affront to God and country.
I'd say one of those beach souvenir shops, like those touristy beach souvenir shops.
Oh yeah, I hate
And what
those.
I'm talking about is those like you roll up, they're always along the interstate, and there's always a big billboard above them for Pirate World or something. And the shop itself is just a big bright blue rectangle with a shark jaw as the entrance, and you have to walk through the shark's jaw. And
this is like a video game.
Yes, and you walk through it, and like the name is something flashy and wild, like Great White, and you're like, "Hey, that's racist." And then you and you walk through, and they have everything you could possibly need at the beach, like towels with Michael Cera's face, or Daredevil on it, or Ghost Rider,
and then the music in the background is obviously Evanescence.
Yeah, so the music in the background is Evanescence.
Work me up.
Every
wake up. Save me.
This sounded more like a cover of the Kids Bop version than the song itself.
Next song, Hoops Next the Reason.
They got all these towels. They got pocket knives and bongs. Anything you need at a beach. And then in the middle, they always have live sea creatures. And this is the most upsetting part to me. There'll just be a circular pool in the middle with yellow-green water and like 20 sharks, like 20 small sharks.
What? I have not been to this gift shop that you are describing.
You know what?
This is a real place that I've been to.
I've actually, when I was in New Orleans,
yeah,
I went through a place, and this was just over the summer. I went through a place, and it was a weird kind of fun house place.
Mm-hmm. It was probably called something like Flamingo Daiquiri.
It was something called that. I walked in, and I looked to my right, and there was this disgusting yellowy green water, right?
Yes.
And there were 3 snapping turtles in it.
No.
And they weren't moving. Now here's the scariest thing. I'm terrified of snapping turtles.
Okay.
Yes.
Childhood fear?
Well, if you were to say, if there was something if I was to create something, it would be snapping turtles that would run at the speed of light. That would be the scariest thing possibly. Like that, because they could take off your arm.
That's your Left 4 Dead scenario.
Oh my gosh. but you know, it was amazing because I found out later that the snapping turtles, you know, they could actually propel themselves up. They could jump up.
So they could have
up.
So they could have jumped out of this tank.
They could have killed me and everyone nearby. And so
tourism killed them first.
Yeah. and now we went full circle. Now we went full circle back to your tourism thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the worst. I hate that.
Yeah.
James, what would you say is the best?
Well, you know, I was thinking when you guys were talking, and I'm gonna throw something at you.
Hit me. Once again, don't actually hit me.
Right.
Please don't throw a thing.
Metaphorically hit me.
The best American tradition is the fortune cookie.
It is an American. Yeah.
The best American tradition is the fortune cookie.
Oh man, that's good.
I realized that when you guys were talking.
Yeah.
When you said roughly about the sharks in the pool of disgust, that's when I was like, oh, fortune cookies. That's
fortune cookies. Just
rolling on the fly.
Well, yeah.
I remember going to an authentic Chinese restaurant, and up at the front where like the hostess brings you to your table and stuff.
Right, yeah.
There was this middle-aged woman who was screaming at this hostess, who like, this was an authentic Japanese restaurant and all the employees were people who like,
Japanese, they were Japanese.
Had immigrated from China.
Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
she is screaming at this hostess, and is upset because they don't have fortune cookies there. And she's like, where are they? Rather, not that she was upset that they didn't have them, but was asking where they were. And she's like, we don't.
Like they're just hoarding them in
Yeah,
the
like,
back.
I know you have them. And
like doing the Smeagol, like...
exactly. Like,
But that's what happens when Americans don't get fortune cookies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Specifically
literally
keeping
the
them
worst.
from her. And she's just, like, this host is just like, we don't have those. Like, we don't have fortune cookies here because you made that up.
And the woman was probably eating a Big Mac while screaming this.
At the authentic.
Yeah, at the authentic. Where is it? What? Where is it? How did you get in
know
here?
you have it.
I know you. It's in the Big Mac. What?
I know if I
crazy.
get to the center of this Big Mac, but I don't know how many licks it's gonna take. So that one rings really true for me as a very upsetting story from my life.
Yeah, I think actually Drew has cried
I've cried every question. This is a very emotional night for me. You guys are bringing a lot.
Are we gonna have to like watch
out.
a movie and eat some ice cream after
First,
this?
it was go-karts, which I'm very passionate
Bring out the
about.
Sandlot.
As I
Bring
said
out the
before.
Sandlot.
First off, let me say you called me Drew. That's not my name. My name is Snazzy Carlisle.
No, Snazzy Carlisle.
I'm not apologizing.
It's his pride that's gonna get him.
I know who you are.
No, he knows my secret.
My secret identity.
I'm just
Drew Swisher.
I'm just regular Carlisle. I made the snazzy part up.
What happened to your confidence?
Been wearing. It's just like the scarf is what gives me all the confidence, really. And I just like it's gotten really warm in here,
By
and
the
the
way,
crying.
Your scarf.
It's very good. Thank you.
Fantastic.
It does look very nice.
That's not even.
It's a chevron
that's not
pattern.
Even close to what it is. It's fantastic.
Handsome. It's a chevron pattern.
Oh,
The rookie.
This is an episode like this is a painfully throwbacky episode. I feel like.
Yes. I always just wanted to be the director.
Is that a throwback to a joke we had a year ago?
At least a year ago.
man, I think
Inside
4 of
joke
our
from
listeners
you.
will get that. I'm real pumped about
No,
that.
I think Tim will get that.
Tim may have been intoxicated at the time.
We will get that.
We will get that.
Cut it. It's not airing.
All right, this episode's going to the vault. This
whole damn
one's
thing.
going in the Disney vault.
Yep. With Walt.
The Walt Vault, as we like to call it.
All right, the Walt Vault, R.I.P. Rest in prejudice.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
I think that about does it.
I think so.
That's a wrap.
I feel right and ready.
Yeah, man. Hey, if you like the show, please give us a
Check
like
it
on Facebook. Go check us out on Twitter and Snapchat at Worst Pod Ever. And also, hey, send us a question. Use the hashtag
WTE Pod.
WTE Pod. Ask us a question. You might end up on the show. We would love it if you get on the show. Plus, if you do get on the show, you're going to get up onto our wall of buddies.
It's basically a list of everyone who's gotten a question on the show, what question they asked, and a link to their Twitter.
Yeah. Plus, we're going to send you a little something
In the mail.
We're keeping it secret for now. We know what it is, but we want people to get it and feel excited.
Yeah. Mostly, I don't really care if they feel excited. I just like the idea of having a secret as I walk around in my daily life. If you don't have a Twitter, shoot us an email at worstthing-ever-podcast@gmail.com. Now, James!
Yes.
What about you? Where can people find you?
Yeah, on Facebook, you can look up The Transfers, and that's my band. And we're also on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find us there with social media. We're always pretty active. And also, we're playing a big show on November 18th at the end. It's our first headlining show. And so I would really appreciate it if...
this is the end in Nashville.
The end in Nashville.
The end in Nashville.
Right.
Yes, the end in Nashville.
For all you Arkansas, Texas, California, and South Africa listeners.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're... Sorry.
Yeah,
you're
it's not going to
own.
work. Yeah, it's not going to work. But yeah, it's the end in Nashville, and it's our first headlining show. We're playing with One Less Wall and Brother Man, so it's going to be a really good lineup. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Rad.
It's called Pumpkin Spice Jamboree, and
Ooh,
you can win gift cards.
To Jamboree, the clothing store. The clothing brand.
no,
I'm
it's
very
really-
excited to just deck myself out with Jamboree clothing. Now, what is this episode's David Roth rating going to be?
Yes.
Now, this is where we rate how confused Dylan's dad, David Roth, is going to be. So lower, 1 is not confused, totally gets it. 10 is doesn't get it at all.
One is there are no references that a 50-something adult will not get.
Yes.
10 is every reference is something that a 50-something adult will not get. I'm going to give this a solid 3.
I think he's going to get this one. I'm going to
he's
give it a 2.
He's good.
Yeah.
He might get this one, as we said earlier, maybe a little too well,
In ways he
unfortunately.
doesn't like. Yes, we are sorry, Dylan's dad. And everyone else, I guess.
And everyone else, I
listeners.
guess.
Welcome to Worst Thing Ever with Dylan and Drew. We're sorry.
And cut.
All right, yeah. Worst Thing Ever with Dylan and Drew. I'm your worst friend, Drew.
I'm your best friend, Dylan.
And I'm James Hatem, and I'm here.
Just Google it.
Just Google it.